Let us start out with the meaning of log. This thing is what we call log base A of B. Let's say this whole thing equals to C. We could actually write this out in another form. A to the power of C equals to B. So in English, after logging, that actually means what power or what index of A brings us to B. Or you can also ask A to what power equals to B. Okay, and the answer to these two questions are both C. So C is actually the result of logging the B with respect to the base of A. That is what it means. Yet another way to think of this is A is my starting point, and B is our end point, and C is what brings us from A going to B. So for example, log base 2 of 8, meaning 2 to what power equals to 8? But 8 is 2 to the power of 3, so the answer would be 3. But what if we have log base 2 of 9? Well, 9 is just a little bit greater than 8. So we know that the answer would be a little bit greater than 3 point something, right? And if you use your calculator, it would be around 3.17. And it also means that when 2 to the power of 3.17 is around 9. And for this one, if there's no base specifically, it's implied that the base is actually 10. And this is what we call the common logarithm. And of course, this equals to 4. Now let's go through some of the easier operations of log using these laws that we need to understand. Log A plus log B. If you look at this first law, okay, I could combine it like that. So this actually equals to log of the product of these two. We can combine like that. And now when we have log 10, that's back to basics. What does that mean? After the log, it is the power that takes us from 10 to this number, right? So what this is saying is that 10 to what power equals to this number? And of course the answer would be 1. Now we just used this law, log A plus log B equals to log AB. Now this one is a minus. It would be a division. Log A minus log B is the log of the quotient. Okay, but before we do that, we have to take care of this 1 over 2 here. And we want to move this away from this position here, right? If there's a number in front of the log, we could put this on top into the power here. And this is just the square root of 64, which is 8. Then now we can use this law to combine them. Okay, and we could make this into a fraction like this, which gives us log of 1 over 100. Now because we cannot use a calculator and the base is 10, right? And so we want to make this into some sort of power of 10. And we know 1 over 100 is actually 10 to the power of negative 2, right? 10 to what power equals to 10 to negative power? Well, that's a silly question, right? The answer obviously is negative 2. Or the other way to think about this is maybe I could just move the power to the front, just like how we looked at this law. And then log and 10 is just 1, right? Now this question is an example that you cannot reduce your expression into some form of some power of 10. Okay, so here's a tip for you. Sometimes you have to identify the basic unit. And for this example, our basic unit would be log 6. Why so? Because when you look at 2, 16, and 36, what do you see in common? They are both some sort of power of 6, right? So if I could make them all in terms of log 6, then we could cancel it somehow. So now we have some power of 6. And this would be 6 to the power of 3 over 2. And if we use this law, we could move the power to the front. Same thing for the 2, which gives us this. Now then they can be cancelled. And you will end up with 3 over 4. And the point of this example is to identify the basic unit for cancelling. Now for this last example, we have to make use of this law. When 10 as a base goes along with the log in the power, they will be cancelled. And the and this number will be brought down. In order to do that, we have to take away the -3. And we've done it many times by moving it to the top here. So that gives us 2 to the power of -3 brought down, and negative index means it's 1 over, right? So that is 1 over 8.